Well, it's October. You know what that means. Joe Bonamassa Epiphone time. I will get this box open and be right back. So for those who are not familiar, every year for quite some time, Joe Bonamassa just recently talked about this, since like 2012. Every year they come out with a Joe Bonamassa signature model for that year based on some guitar that he currently or has owned. And this one is a little bit different because it has a different setup than a lot of the other ones do. Oh, this one's a little awkward. See if I can. Oh, yep, there it is. There's all right. Putting you on pause again. So this one's a little different. Case is actually a different color, it seems like. Seems like before now we've always gotten a different version of that. But the Nerdville and Epiphone logos stay the same. But this time around, it's a guitar that has, well, you can't see them, but P90s on it. So, Laurel fretboard, P90s. Joe was talking about the fact that he said this is the first one of the run that has had P90s. And I'm surprised by that because, well, you know, Gibsons and P90s is kind of a thing. Logo looking good. It is, I don't know, is that? I guess it's got some kind of a color shift to it, so maybe that's probably acrylic. But at first I thought it was a regular old, you know, gold Epiphone logo. So the color on this one, as you can kind of see in this, is called Copper Iridescent. And it is, in bright sunlight, very, very, very easy to see how the copper is on there. I am having a hard time getting the camera to focus in on it. So darken contrast. That's about as good as it's going to get. But that is a cool color. And the knobs kind of match. So they went with a Laurel fretboard and a little lower trim spec, stuck with the headstock that is indicative of the normal Epiphone brand. And looking carefully, it either doesn't have a scarf joint or it has a really well hidden scarf joint. Could that be a scarf joint right there? It's either really well hidden or it's not there. But no matter how you look at it, could be a one-piece neck. Probably is. That's been Joe's thing that he started to spec out. So that would not be far off in the specs that he's done just recently. Well, I certainly like the looks. What kind of case candy do we get? Anything neat? Oh yeah, Joe Bonamassa, authentic original. There you go. So that's a little bit unique. And then it looks like your normal case candy, Gibson stuff, Epiphone hang tag, basic stuff. Nothing is high end. You do get a tool though, and I think that might be something newer. What's this case made though? Case made in China. So pink interior. Overall, pretty good little package for the price. Now these guys are stickering for less than $900 brand new, and I've actually got a second one coming, so one or both of them will wind up for sale. But first, before that all happens, I'm going to do a little test on these P90s, because I have always wondered, now that I have a few of them, are all P90s created equal? So I'll be checking the output on these P90s in this episode and comparing it to a SG Special as well as the LP Junior that I have. So let this one adjust to the temperature a little bit and then get a playing sample. Alright, so with everything turned up to 10 on here, the P90 in the neck 7.9, in the bridge 7.89. So these two are basically identical, 3.94 in the middle. With this in mind, we are about to find out if all P90s in the Epiphone and Gibson lineup are created equal. Next up, we'll go to the Junior. And this one's easy because there's only one P90. 8.0 hovering back and forth between 7.99. Now this is an easy one because, like I say, only one, everything turned up to 10. So a little bit hotter than the Epiphone one. But let's see what happens when we go to the special. The SG Special, not the Les Paul Special, the SG Special. All right, this time SG Special, 7.93 in the neck, 7.89 in the bridge. So they're all pretty close. Interestingly enough, the SG has almost exactly the same readings, and the one in the Junior is a little bit different, and that's probably because of the way the wiring is more than anything else. So these pickups really are pretty much the same. So even though those may be Epiphone branded P90s, they are very much at the same output. I'll have to look into that and see if that's Gibson P90s or if that's Epiphone P90s. So, after a little time with this guitar, I've tuned it up, looked it over, done some stuff. Have not cleaned the fretboard or anything like that. So, next time you see this one, it will have had some conditioning done to the fretboard. But to get some basic sounds out of this one, I wanted to do it before I, since it's unboxing, I decided to go ahead and do a little quick sound demonstration. And I gotta tell you, this is a good guitar. The feel of it is thinner than what I think an actual like 50s Les Paul would be, but it's also thicker than some other ones. So I don't really have a good answer as to whether or not it's, I don't know exactly what to think about that. Now I will say this, I am almost positive that on the back here, there's a scarf joint, and I can't see if you can see it, but right there it seems to go up and carry over in a different pattern than the rest of the thing. So I think there's a scarf joint in there somewhere, but I can't prove that because it's not perfect like I think it should be, right? So possibly a scarf joint. But if it is, it's an odd position for a scarf joint, and it's not very deep into the headstock. So, with that in mind, it's Like I say, still might be a one-piece neck. This guitar, though, has some really nice sounds. Neck pickup. Bridge. And in the middle. Now, that's actually pretty nice tones. I mean, but I like to add a little reverb to make it a little bit better. But what I've discovered is this guitar loves a little fuzz tone to it. And the sounds just go on and on and on and on. There is dialing back that neck on the tone, and you get a little. There's a little dead spot in that pot. Dialing it back to 7. Go to the bridge and do the same trick. Still turned up to 10. Dial the tone back to 0. the pickup down, or the volume. Dang it, man, that was difficult. Between 8 and 10, there's a massive drop. So, if you want to make any noise, my recommendation, keep it 9 or 10, because it seems like on 9, the drop happens at 8. So 9 or 10 is where you're at, unless you want to be really quiet. But there's your basic tones out of this guitar. And I gotta tell you, this color is out freaking standing. Like, I see why this was, the Epiphone put something out saying this was a NAMM, these guitars in 1955 were NAMM pieces. And I can see why that color would go to a NAMM. Now, thing I think is neat is, this really is a, some kind of mother of pearl that's been aged over, or a, like, some kind of acrylic that is on the Epiphone logo. And so it is actually a pretty nice little setup. Like I say, looks good. Guitar feels great. And overall, I give it pretty solid 9. 8.5, 9. The pots might drag it down to a little bit lower. Pots might drag it down a little bit lower, but overall, I would say that good guitar. I would highly recommend one. And of course, like I say, I'll be putting it up against a couple other guitars, and we'll see how it handles. Also, condition this fretboard. Man, this thing is really dry. Laurel looks, these imitation rosewood Laurel boards really look so much better after conditioning. So I'll get that happening, and we'll work from there. All right, till next time.